And one other thing that teachers try to do for us students to participate is breakout rooms. And I don't know any student that likes breakout rooms. Like, yeah, I get that that you want us to collaborate, get into groups and stuff, but no one like turns on their mic. No one wants to talk. No one wants to do anything. So it's really counterintuitive to what they're trying to achieve. Hey yo, I got a special video for y'all today. I was part of a podcast recently, and if you're wondering, this was the first time that I was a guest on a podcast, so this was really cool to experience. And I just want to thank the teachers who run the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's spelled BETR together, so I'll link that in the description so that you guys can listen to all their other podcasts plus the full version of this podcast. And for this video, I just included the best topics that we talked about that I felt like you guys need to hear. And if there's enough of you commenting that you want the full video format of this podcast, then I might be able to post it. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed these authentic conversations about just our experiences in COVID-19 world as students and teachers. So yeah, enjoy.
If you think about virtual learning, what's one thing that you really enjoyed from that experience with your time?
If I could start us off with that one, I like that I could wake up like 5 minutes before class and still make it on time. Like, I don't have to go outside, wait for the bus, because I wait for the bus. I still don't have my license, even though I'm a senior. But yeah, I'd have to wait in the cold, especially in the winter.
I 100% agree with that statement. And when we had the option to go in person, like halfway, all my friends, like the people that I talked to, did you do in person? Did you do online? The people that stayed online were like, I wanted to go in person, but I stayed because I could get so much more sleep and wake up like 10 minutes before school, brush my teeth, and just get in class. And it's honestly really nice because I as well had to wait for the bus, and it honestly takes up so much more time. So it's really nice to get that extra sleep in.
And just chiming in from the middle school perspective, it's early. We start very early.
Yeah, I'm not sure what time the high school starts, but we start at 7:30, so.
Yeah, for us, we start 8:10. So yeah, that's definitely really early for you guys.
I will agree. I enjoy the extra sleep and not having to dress up. I could just wear like a t-shirt, some sweatpants, roll down and get on my computer when I need to. And if I wanted to multitask and do some things around the house, I could do that as well.
One thing that I really like is the fact that they can record the lesson and you can like rewatch it later on, especially for math. Like sometimes I don't understand it the first time, and like you'd have to like, I don't know, just like ask a friend, wait, I missed that. But now you can actually rewind and like relearn the lesson if you miss something.
That's a good point, Cody. Yeah, because you know, having that ability to have that video to play things back or little segments instead of having to schedule a time to stay after with the teacher or things like that, that really, I'm sure that's got to help tremendously.
You guys have said a lot of really like positive things, right? And I heard Ryan, you just said something that you wish might be slightly different. So has there been anything negative during your experience this past year that maybe you wish would be different? Because we know there's been some positives and there's definitely also been some negatives. So
yeah, and I know something that I'm sure a lot of people are also thinking. I miss the human interaction. I miss talking with my friends. I miss talking with my teachers. I miss making the connections for sure.
Going off of that, I'm a senior, like I mentioned, and so this would have been like the last time for like those first days of school and like first, you know, like pep rallies, like last high school pep rally, stuff like that. So for seniors, it definitely sucks that we had to spend a lot of time virtually, and I'm still virtual because my parents want me to get my vaccine first before heading back to school. And so still missing out on a bunch of that connection that we're talking about, and just like, yeah, just normal high school stuff that seniors should be able to participate in.
Yeah, I know obviously for sixth graders it's not that bad, but I know like a lot of people are kind of sad, especially people who are continuously virtual, because they don't get to do as much of the stuff that they could have done if COVID wasn't around for like the last year in elementary school. And even the people who are in person, like you don't get to do all the same stuff you could have been able to do.
It is completely different. I agree. Like even in person, 6 feet apart, facing forward, half virtual, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, and I consider myself a little lucky, like that I'm not in elementary school, because a lot of my fondest memories are like playing outside in recess or like sitting with my friends during lunch. And like if I was in elementary school, I know my parents would have a hard time like helping me, especially if it's like kindergarten or something that's like very instrumental to your education. Yeah, that would be really hard being in like kindergarten or something like that.
I definitely agree, and I feel like kindergarten is one of like the early stages of your life where you like get to experience all that stuff, and like I feel like kindergarten was so fun, and the kindergartners aren't even getting like to make friends and have the social aspect of it, like obviously just like everyone else. And I feel so bad because the younger kids aren't even able to experience that.
Something that you're really looking forward to not having to do anymore, I guess we could say. Like, what is something, we go back in person, I know Cody, you're heading off to college, but or wherever your path is taking you, but like what's something that you will be very grateful that you don't have to do anymore when virtual learning isn't as necessary?
So I'm definitely looking forward to having peace and quiet, because with the younger siblings, it's hard to find that time where you can actually focus. Like I have my headphones right here. I have my door closed so I can kind of like feel the classroom experience where it's quiet enough that you're able to get the work done.
Some of my teachers are like, they don't care whether or not you turn on your camera, but some of my teachers, I literally feel so bad because they're like lonely. They're like, I feel like I'm a YouTuber talking to a screen, and I'm like, aw. So like we have to turn on our mic and like try and have a conversation. So they're trying.
I think there's a big difference between younger elementary kids and then as we move up, because I do feel like, and especially like our K1 and 2 classes, like they want to talk, and so it's almost hard to like, you know what I mean? The older classes I go in and I teach lessons and I'm like, hello, anyone want to participate? Anyone? And then in first grade I'm like, okay guys, and I put your hands down. Everybody's got to put their hands down.
That's one thing that some of them are really frustrated about, is that they're trying to do a bunch of engaging activities, but all they see is kind of a black screen, and it just kind of gets exhausting after a while of trying to probe and prod people to participate. So I completely understand.
And one other thing that teachers try to do for us students to participate is breakout rooms. And I don't know any student that likes breakout rooms. Like, yeah, I get that. Yeah, you want us to collaborate, get into groups and stuff, but no one like turns on their mic. No one wants to talk. No one wants to do anything. So it's really counterintuitive to what they're trying to achieve.
Speaking the truth, man, I've heard numerous teachers say that they'll go into breakout rooms and it's like dead silence and they don't understand why. So now we get it.
And also, like, probably one of the reasons why people don't want to turn on their mics is because they're not there. Like, I know some people are just sleeping like after they sign in, so that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people don't have their mics on or their cameras on or silent in breakout rooms, because they're not at their computer.
Again, I love your honesty and keeping it real, telling us how it really is, right?
Well, and this kind of, I feel, goes back to what you all were talking about earlier with the collaboration being one of the obviously better components of in-person, because it is a little bit, it's just a little bit more awkward to communicate online. Like if we were all in a room right now, we would all be sort of chuckling together and probably bouncing off of each other quickly, but there's that awkward wait time, and stuff. So it's just, that part is a little bit more awkward, but it goes to what you all were saying earlier with the communication piece. And one thing we've heard from teachers that are doing in-person, the concurrent teaching, like the in-person groups where they get students into those quote unquote breakout groups, but in person. I guess the time difference about how quickly students in person are getting it done in that in-person group. So that's just, I guess, one of it's the nature of collaborating online and everything. So.
And like, you'd be amazed. Like, some of these people are people who don't turn on their mics at all when you're in the breakout rooms, but suddenly they have tons to say. And you're like, what? So it's definitely like the in-person stuff it's definitely like faster. I think it's like a little more engaging just because you can see the other people there are waiting for you to say something.
Yeah, and can I add on to that? Breakout rooms, it usually goes like no one's talking, and then when it's time to present for the group, they start talking and acting like they did work, and it's like, where were you? But like, you don't want to like call them out or anything like that, but it's just like, where were you?
Absolutely. It's like we have that awkward silence because I'm like trying to communicate brainwaves with you two. Like, who wants to go first? Because like, we don't want to be rude and interrupt each other, but in person, obviously, we don't have to worry about turning on and off our mic. We can just bounce ideas off and have a conversation.
I love how honest you guys are. I really appreciate it very much, your honest opinion. So you guys are here. Oh, go ahead, Rayanne.
I was just going to say something just about what just happened. Like, there is an awkward pause. Like, sometimes like me and Miss Lacey are constantly like turning our mics on at the same time. So it's like awkward, you're like, okay.
Right, there's almost like social expectations and norms and how you communicate with people online, right? And whether you use the raise hand feature or, all of us right now, nobody listening will be able to know this, but we all have our cameras on so we can see each other. So we can nod, we can kind of gather how each other is feeling because we're watching. Like, I can see when you're smiling. I can point to you and say, no, you talk, I'll turn off my mic. Which in a room where you don't have a lot of people turning their cameras on, it's kind of hard to feel that, goes back to that human interaction and connection. You can still have it online in a different form. It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
So you guys are sure. Oh, go ahead, Cody.
And going off of that, I noticed that some teachers try to be humorous in their lessons, and like, I like their jokes and stuff. Like, sometimes it's funny, but then they don't see it because I don't want to be the one person with my camera on and like, or just like say in the chat haha or something like that, like, so it's just that missing aspect of being in person and like, yeah.
Cody, you should totally turn on your camera and be that person. Do it for your teachers. They work hard. But I will say, one of our second grade teachers, the first day that she had kids come back in person, I talked to her the very next day and I said, what was the best part about your day? And she said, I read a book aloud and they all laughed. All the kids laughed because, we read, teachers, especially elementary school, we read books to kids all the time. She's like, I feel like I'm reading a book to who knows what. She's like, but I read it and it was funny and they all laughed at me. So.
Yeah, I definitely feel that the online platform is not conducive to those of us who like to laugh constantly, because I'm just one of those people. I try to find like the fun in every time we gather, anyone gathers. Yeah, obviously business to attend to, but I know that Ms. Lacey and Mr. Pomedy and we all get together with a group of colleagues and we like to, get work done, but also laugh. And it's harder to just banter online and like some of that just naturals. But it's crazy though, I'm glad you mentioned that, Cody, because I know that a lot of teachers recognize how valuable humor is and connection, and that is something that's so hard to gauge. And so like, I'm glad Ms. Lacey encouraged, like, try to turn your camera on and smile when teachers are doing that, because it's so hard, and I really don't know what the solution is in the online setting. I mean, our tools are pretty good that we use, but it's just the nature of it.
And I have to say, kind of going off the procrastination thing, I know that at first, when we started virtually, obviously there was a lot that was put on teachers and us specifically as school-based technology specialists. But I definitely found myself at times kind of pushing things off or being like, I don't really want to do that now. I'm going to go. I have 2 little kids. So I'm going to go play with my little kids, or I'm going to go do this, or I have laundry to do, or I'm going to make myself some lunch or whatever. So it definitely at times made it a little bit more challenging being virtual to keep that motivation up to continue to do the work that I know I needed to get done.
Can I ask a question to the teachers? Like, how many emails would you say that you average like every day? How many emails do you guys get?
Well, so you're asking us as school-based technology specialists. So we get emails. If you think about what we're getting, we get emails from teachers who need help. We get emails from students who need help. We get emails from parents who need help, our administrators, lots of different people. So we already get a ton because, especially now in this environment, we always I think a lot of my role being customer service, providing service to make sure that the technology is working. And our customers a few years ago was really just teachers. And then it became also students. And now it's also families at home. So we do get a lot, but I think as far as the teacher goes, especially a middle or high school teacher that has a lot of students and a lot of classes, I don't even know. I can't even begin to imagine. It's hard to keep up with though.
I would say, Cody, I definitely agree with what Miss Lacey said about, we in our role, we have, I guess maybe different population that we sort of serve the same community, but we have different types of interactions, I guess you could say. But one thing I will say, just sharing the voice of teachers at Rocky Run, is there are a lot of emails that come in when you have 120 students and 120 families that you're supporting. So there's a lot of emails that our teachers receive every day. But with us, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna try to put a number to it. Let's see. I don't know. I'm gonna have I'm looking at Mr. Palmedy and Miss Lacey to see if 50? Is that
well
more? I don't know. It does differ depending on the day too. So
and I would say, being that I'm at a secondary school, so I support middle and high school, I definitely, it's kind of tapered off a little bit now as people have once people kind of get comfortable, teachers, students that kind of get comfortable in the adjustments that we've had to make and shifting from different ways of learning. But at certain points, I would probably get 150, 200 emails in a day. And it was very hard to answer all of those.
Yeah, that's crazy. The reason why I was asking is because I did realize at the beginning of the year, it seemed like I'd send an email and then 3 weeks later I'd get a response just because of how many emails they receive. But I do realize that I think now they are responding a bit quicker now that everything's kind of under control and they got used to everything, the situation and all that.
So I don't know if you guys know the title of our podcast. It's called Better Together, which really stands for bringing educators together. That's the BETR, right? For some real talk. And this is the first time that we've had students be a part of that. But I will say, we always like to talk about things that are better together, like movies and popcorn and peanut butter and banana. If you don't think that, I actually just had a banana with peanut butter right before we recorded this podcast. And also, I think one thing that's better together is as educators talking with students about their experiences in learning, whether it be here, how we've talked about virtual. I've learned so much just from listening to you guys, and you've inspired me and made me feel really happy to hear, especially from the different levels, because, I'm elementary. I don't know exactly what happens up there in middle and high school. So this has been really awesome. And I can speak for myself, and I know Ms. Galliette and Mr. Palmedy, we really appreciate your time and your thoughtful responses and your honesty.
Okay, so Cody, food, what's better together? Can't do peanut butter and bananas.
Well, I'm allergic to peanut butter, so that's out of the question. But this is really underrated, and I think everyone should try it. It's Nutella and Cheez-Its. You guys should definitely try that. There's like you could put it in like a sandwich, a Cheez-Its and Nutella sandwich, and those actually hit different. Those are good.
Oh man, okay, that might go under the pineapple and pizza for me. Ray, just kidding. Rayanne, food, what's better together?
I like apples and peanut butter, kind of like Miss Lacey said, bananas and peanut butter. That's good. I mean, like sugar and more sugar is also like a decent combo. You know, like could go either way.
Yes, and Emily, you're not off the hook. What's better together? What food is better together?
The first thing that comes to my mind, I don't know if this is like unusual, but I love chicken nuggets with honey. I don't know like if anyone else does that, but it's so good.
All right, now that you guys have got me hungry, I feel like I gotta go get another snack.
Yeah, so thank you, as Miss Lacey had talked about earlier, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday afternoon to come and speak with us. We really appreciate your perspective, and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I had a really good time on the show or the podcast. And in the future, I might actually have a podcast of my own. We'll see. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys inviting us and having this conversation and just taking the student input as well. And yeah, it was just a really great experience.
Yeah, for sure. Branching all of that, I'm so appreciative that you guys are like doing this for us, and it was super fun, super awesome experience to speak with you guys and be on the podcast. So thank you.
Yeah, it was very fun. It was a fun experience.
And Cody, you should totally make a podcast one day. Like how we started is we would always just talk, and then we were like, we should be recording ourselves. This should be a podcast. And then one day, Mr. Pomini just started recording us, and here we are. So.
I agree. Definitely start that podcast.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the spontaneous things that just really click. So definitely thinking about that.
You gotta come down to the media center, Cody, and check out the podcast studio.
Yeah, for sure. Next year, I mean, I'm still gonna be here since I'm going to George Mason. So definitely still gonna be checking that out and staying in the area.
Go virtual. All right, well, take care, everybody. Best of luck to you on the rest of your school year.
You guys were great.
Thank you so much, everybody. This was amazing. Emily, you get some service hours for this. Cody, you remember those?
Thank you. I need some.
Rayanne, that's the bonus of being a Padawan.
I know.
You get some service hours.
I know, right? I need some. So thank
Submit
you for
them, girl.
reminding me.
Submit them.
I definitely will.
Oh, well, this was a great end to my day. I might be logging off for the day soon. So thank you all for bringing such light to my life today.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it improved my rainy day for
Thank
sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was awesome to be here. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna press record, so I'm just gonna record everything, and then I can kind of edit this at a later date. All right. So everybody take a deep breath. The fun is about to begin.
You're muted, Miss Gallietta.
Already forgetting something. So we've seen the memes out there, some of the funny memes, but are there any funny stories that anyone wants to share?
Like Miss Gallietta trying to talk, but she's on mute, and how many times you have to say to somebody, you're muted, or mute your microphone.
Yeah, it always sucks when you forget that your mic is still on. Like the teacher asks you a question and you keep your mic on, and then it's like awkward. Like the teacher goes, I think your mic's still on, and then you're like, oh, I forgot. Completely forgot.
Yeah, I know for sure. Like when I leave my mic on, you can hear like people singing, like my younger siblings singing like the Sophia the First theme song. So like, yeah.
I can attest to that, Rayanne. When Rayanne turns her mic on, I know that she has younger siblings, and I hear them in the background for sure.
So like the Mondays when you guys are asynchronous, Do you guys find that to be beneficial to have like one day out of your 5 days to be an asynchronous day, or do you not enjoy having that Monday?
I for sure like that Monday. Other than the fact that they make you sign in at 8:30 or like between 8 and 9, like I don't really get that. Like why do we have to sign in? Cuz I like my sleep. And so and also oh, sorry, you can go ahead. Okay, I was just saying it also takes so long to like type out your question. So it's like they're like, did you have a question? Then you're like typing it, and then they're like, oh, you didn't have a question. Okay, let's move on. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like one of my uncles, he loves to joke around. And one day, my teacher wasn't turning on her camera, and he was like, "How do you know that's not a robot on the other end?" So it's kind of like that.
Hey, best of luck to you on the rest of your school year, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.
Don't log out yet. Do we need Miss Lacey? You always get the good.
Oh yes. I already took one screenshot, but I didn't have everybody smiling. I'm so glad you said that, Miss Galliana.
Yeah, we need a picture.
Okay, one more just in case. Hold on. Okay, keep smiling.